Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Got me in Backwoods for the next hour or so, or however long we decide to stay on here and talk. Welcome. Let's say hello to who all we got here in the chat. Looks like we got about 25 people in here. The Matrix Transparency. Hello. Northern Girl Hobbies. Welcome, welcome. Tamara Reynolds. Native and Devout. What's going on, brother? Milkmaid. Hello, sweetheart. Caribbean House, Spotted Fawn, Charisse Hamilton, Debbie Sims, Monique King, PAMT, what's going on? Aaron Woods, how's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Uh, as you can see, my trusty Combat in Chaos Backwoods is here with us. We decided not to do a scenario tonight because we're all actively participating in one, whether we want to or not, in everyday life with all this crap that's going on. So I just kind of figured we would kind of talk about a lot of this distraction and fake news and fake media and this smoke and mirrors that we got going on. And I don't know, maybe just kind of get a few different opinions on it and kind of go from there. Long Pig Prepper, what's going on? What do you think back?
Well, I got a question actually for you right off the bat. I actually seen this over on Salty Cracker, so I'm not trying to steal anything for those of y'all out there that might have watched it, but so I and it was a good question. It made me curious. Do you think a ninja, one of them ninjas, do you think he ever accidentally cut off half of his ass cheek, like whipping it? You think it ever?
Well, I think back in the day, I think that was a common injury.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's genetic too, because if you look at most Japanese people nowadays, they don't really have much of an ass. So I mean, if you keep chopping it off, eventually it's hereditary. You're gonna pass down the sword ass.
That's a good thought. Yeah, I was just curious, man. I just heard it on Salty Cracker earlier. I just thought it was funny. Hey, Hoot Out, Daily Prepper.
What's going on? Stanley. Hoot. Sherry Leach. Hello.
What's up, Native?
What's going on? Ghetto, what's going on, brother? Hey, Tiff. What's happening? Cadwin, how you doing? Yeah, so I just figured, tonight we kind of talk about all this crap that's going on, the media and the wokeism and, all the crap. Susanna, Debbie Sims, Yankee Watchdog, what's going on? I got to tell you a funny story, though, if you guys ain't seen this yet. I actually took a picture of it. I'll show it to you guys just so you know I ain't bullshit. So I'm in Walmart yesterday, and I tried to do a rant on it, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get the words right during the rant because it just happened. You know how sometimes you just get punched in the side of the head from left field and you don't even see it coming? Yeah, that's what happened. So I'm walking through Walmart, me and Buddy just doing our thing, going down the cereal aisle. And on the very end of the cereal aisle, I see this big display. And it's got this cereal from Kellogg's. And I swear to you people, I am not lying. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I am not lying. I'm going to show you the picture of it. But this cereal is called Kellogg's Together with Pride. It's a heart symbol. The cereal is shaped in hearts, and it says Kellogg's is donating to GLAAD to support their media advocacy work and accelerating acceptance for the LGBTQ plus community. See back panel. Okay, this is it's cereal. That's what we eat as kids. I remember growing up, when you're a kid, you eat cereal in the morning. It's like you want to fight your brothers and sisters. So y'all know I ain't bullshitting. So you want to fight your brothers and sisters to see who gets the cereal box so you can read what's on the back of it. And it literally on the box says see back panel. So you can read up more on the acceptance of the LGQRPT stuff. So now there's not only, and don't get me wrong, and I've said it before, I have nothing against people's sexual preferences. I don't care. That's why it's called your sexual preference. If you're a dude and you like dudes, dude, do the damn thing. I don't care. If you're a girl and you like girls, rock and roll. You want to go back and forth, that's cool too. But when it comes down to chopping off your tallywhacker and telling me you're a woman now, you're not a man. No, you're not. You're never going to be a woman, and now you're not ever going to be a man because you just chopped off your gender.
I think, Ghost, I think that I'm glad you showed me that, because I'm going to run up and get me a box of that right off the bat. And I think I'm going to buy several boxes to send out to each and every one of y'all, you and Native and Prepper Tribe and Dangerous Freedom, and as gifts, you know.
Hell yeah. That's what they should have named it. PAEMT. Broke back cornflakes or broke back cereal or something.
The Brokeback Mountain Tiger.
Well, I just don't. I don't get it. So now you're gonna shove this. You get to choose sex, not your gender, because gender has nothing to do with sex. We talked about this before. The concept of gender is a social concept. It has nothing to do with sex. And that's why when people have gender reveal parties and they do the blue or the pink to show it's a boy or girl, that's not gender. That's sex. Gender is a social construct. Gender is something that we as human beings made up to give people all these different ways to fit into society, because apparently nowadays you need a definition. You can't just be a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman. You've got to be something special and something different. And I understand people wanting to feel special and different, but I got my ass beat on the playground every day all through middle school. Yes, I was bullied. And nowadays on the media, especially the TikTok, now you got these videos. Number one, on TikTok, you can't even put out a video if you're a woman with wearing a bra. I have yet to see a video on TikTok with a woman wearing a bra. They're all no bras. The titties just going everywhere. And I don't care what age they are. Some of them are going higher than others, and some of them are just all over the place. But then they break down this whole thing where they go into this, I'm a victim. Everybody's a victim. I was sexually molested 74 times, in a 3-month period by my father when I was 16. Then if you were, I mean, come on, man. That 74 times when I was 16 by my stepfather. If you were sexually molested 74 times when you were 16 years old, that means you went back for more, unless you were just chained to the wall. You know what I mean? Everybody's a victim now. You have to be a victim. You have to have been bullied. Apparently, everybody on the planet has been bullied, but nobody on the planet is actually a bully. Do the math. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Nicole D, Waterwell guy. Nicole, Double D.
Got my Merkel, Virginia Roots. What's going on? Yankee Watchdog.
Yankee
Watchdog. La la. G girl. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. And you can tie it. I mean, it's one distraction after the next. And you brought up a good point backstage before we came on about all this distraction with Afghanistan and everything else. Don't get me wrong. What's going on over there sucks.
Oh,
but it's not new. It's been going on forever. It was going on the entire time we were there. Okay. Just because we were in country does not mean we had a soldier in every square foot of the country making sure that men were being nice to the women. No, this shit was going on the entire time. Don't get it twisted, okay? But everybody's worried about Afghanistan. Nobody's worried about what in the hell they're writing and what in the hell they're typing up and what in the hell they're signing in Washington, D.C. right now when we're looking the other way. This is when they get shit done, when we're not paying attention. And then they come out with these sweeping new changes and all this crazy horse shit.
Well, did you see did you get the chance to see Just Josh's video, that letter that Dave Hodges had wrote?
No, I don't think so. I did not.
Well, I'll tell you like this. The letter is actually on Dave Hodges. I've been watching Dave Hodges for years, and he tends to be a little conspiracy sort of, but not always, I guess you can say. A lot of the stuff he talks about is true. And so he had a letter. Let's see if I can find it. I may just have to kick over to Just Josh's video.
Constitutional Carpenter, what's going on?
It's a deal that let me get Just Josh's video pulled up. because he's got it on there and he talks about it. And um, it's the agenda. So Dave Hodges. So you can take it for what it's worth. Don't kill the messenger, kind of thing. Um, but basically, it's one of them deals where he got some information from someone that it's right here. And so anyway, so Dave Hodges got this letter. These are the notes that he took down and the stuff that he wrote down from talking with someone that had some documents that, they've been longtime friends, and this guy was kind of like, hey, I'm just going to show you these documents, but, don't know where you know what I'm saying. Don't mention no names. You didn't know where it come from, kind of thing. And it says, so basically he talks about that one of my long-term sources and colleagues met with in person. So this person permitted them to view and take notes about some documents that are soon going to be codified into administrative law. Okay. Homeland Security cards indicating this status, your jabber status. Says they are coming to America. Although it is not yet injected into your forehead or hand, it is the definitive move towards the mark of the beast, is what this says. I have learned from unnamed federal government sources, so again, take it for what it's worth, that the compliance rate will be 100%. These cards will be used for enforcement, of the following areas: scanning the cards to your phone with a public QR reader, them little QR codes, will ultimately be the way that the jabbered status is checked, and it can double as a contact tracing for the COOF or whatever the variant flavor of the week is. Boarding an airplane, taking any kind of public transportation, this included, buying groceries, entering any public or private store, going into federal, state, and local office for any reason. HR 1 and SB 1 will be amended to include the right to vote. There will be a grace period for those who are not supposed to be here. But it will allow them to vote in 2022 and 2024. All participants in daycare will be through post, all the way into daycare through post graduation. It will be required also that you have to show your papers. No driver's license will be issued or renewed without proof. Eventually, public utilities will be made unavailable without your documentation. No medical service will be available to any, that don't have your papers. Emergency health care will be withheld without the documentation. Compliance will be prerequisite to obtaining or refilling prescriptions. No marriage license will be granted unless both parties are, watered. No business license will be provided to people who have not had this. Homeschooling will be outlawed. That's what it says. Homeschooling will be outlawed. Third-party acquisition of health supplements, prescriptions, or groceries will be criminalized. So, if I go out and buy some for somebody I know who hasn't had it, and I have, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Yeah, I could be criminally charged. DUI style roadblocks will be implemented. Each person in the car must be, watered, confirmed by a handheld device, or the owner's car will be impounded and sold at an auction in order to cover the enforcement fees. And it just continues to go on. Um, I mean, like I said, we can say, that is not true. It'll never happen, kind of thing. I don't know what the chat's saying because I've got it pulled on another tab here. I'll come back over here. Yes, I agree. Make this all stop. The problem is we're the only ones that are going to be able to make it stop. And one of the things that I really like is, to be honest with you, is shut down the country. Just I know it sucks. I know it's going to be rough on folks because they're going to pull power moves, just like once you go there, they're going to pull power moves. And what people need to understand is, if we shut down the country, everybody just say, we're staying home. We're not working. We're not doing nothing. Lights go out over there. The sewer system backs up. Groceries don't get delivered. I mean, everything. Just shut it completely down, and it'll start to affect them.
The problem is, there's already so many people that have taken it.
Yep.
They're at a tipping point right now to where the country can function without the non-Bs. But here's my thing, and I'll be honest with you guys on my stance on the jab. I don't care. I mean, it's not. Here's the thing. If it's so good and it does what it's supposed to do, then put the proof out there, put the scientific facts out there. Show us that it works, and I'll be the first one in line. It's not like I hadn't been stuck before. You guys remember I have told you before I was in the military, and that's one thing they love to do is jab needles in your arm. So it works. Great. Put me up. But don't just come up with this cocktail and in a month's time and say it's awesome. And I'm hearing and seeing different things. I mean, I know people that have had both stabs, and they're sick right now. And not from the stab, but they got the seed, months afterwards. So you know what? Then it doesn't work. I mean, if it works, I'll take it. Show me that it works. Now, granted, I know it's not going to be 100%. Nothing's 100%. But let's and don't just show me numbers, and don't parade bullshit doctors in front of the camera and then idiots like Gates and the rest of them, and then and do stupid publicity stunts like they did in Florida with the doctors staging a protest. Okay, these are medical professionals. If you guys hadn't seen the video, you should see it. I'm sorry, Ghetto. I'll lean in a little bit better. I'm on my laptop. I keep forgetting. You got doctors that walked out in the middle of their shift. I'm not making this up. They walked out in the middle of the shift to stand in the parking lot in protest of the unvaxxed. And when I say walked out in the middle of their shift, I'm saying it as a fact because, hey, that's what the news guy said when he was interviewing one of the doctors, that some of them walked out of their shift. So not only are they refusing to help people that need help, that are vaxxed, they literally walked out on the ones that were upstairs that were vaxxed to come out in the parking lot and make an ass out of themselves. And then what did the media do? They parade up on a scale of 1 to 10, a definite 9.5 on the hotness scale. This blonde doctor, okay, in a super, super, super tight set of scrubs. And guess what the name badge said on her scrubs? In great big white embroidered letters. All it said was doctor. That's it. All it said was doctor. So it's Dr. Pop was leading the protest, against people. And you've got news guys putting out these bullshit not editorials, they're personal views of how the unvaxxed are putting the other people health risk because they're taking up hospital beds. What if somebody has a heart attack and they can't get to a bed because there's an unvaxxed person that's sick? Well, he's sick. Fix him. Being vaxxed is not a requirement yet. So it's just when they're getting all these people on board and everybody's singing the same song, and eventually the numbers are going to tip. When it's when it's 60-40, 60 is a no and 40 is the yes. When it gets closer to 50-50, then you got momentum built up. Then all that stuff that you read, they can push through. I mean, they can push it through regardless on a federal level. Whether the states follow up or not is completely different. You know, so I mean, it's going to be. And here's what I think. All right, we are number one. This is what happens when you get a mentally disabled geriatric pedophile and an unsuccessful prostitute in the two highest offices in the world. Okay, so now we've already proved that he's incompetent. We proved that before he was ever selected. You notice I didn't say the E word; I said the S word, and you'll never hear me call him Mr. anything other than pedophile. That's the only P word he deserves. Number one, but we've already proved that he's incompetent. You know, we did that before the selection. So, and he was the best thing since sliced bread for the conservatives. Now all of a sudden they're turning on him. Now all the media outlets are turning on him because it fits the media. It fits the narrative. Now it's time to flip on him. Since day one when he got in office, he started signing a bunch of bullshit. Not because it was his idea, because somebody else told him to sign this stuff. An agenda that was laid out. And they needed a patsy. And who better to be a patsy than somebody that's got Alzheimer's and he's not going to remember what he did in the first place. You know, he's going to be in an institute somewhere really, really quick, really soon. And they're using him as the patsy to try to push all this crazy hardcore shit through. And then when it comes time to hit him with the 25th, like they set up months and months and months ago, then they're going to slide knee pads into office. And she's going to come out with all this groundbreaking new peace treaties in the Middle East. And she's going to come and what she's going to do, I honestly believe it. They're taking everything from us, and she's going to step in and give a little bit back. I think they're going to back off on this to make everything like her, because this is going to be the first P in the history of the country that never received a vote. Like literally, she didn't even get a vote in the primaries. She was like literally the first one to drop out. Her own people couldn't stand the bitch because they knew all she does is lie. She's worthless. I mean, she's just a meat sack full of bullshit. And I know, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting jacked up tonight. I'm saying words I shouldn't be saying, and I do apologize. I just get excited about stuff like this. But, you know, and they're going to shove her down our throat, you know, and then it's all, man, like Tribe says, it's all downhill from here. You know, what are you going to do?
Well, she's had shit shoved down her throat for so long. That's where she got to where she was, that she's decided she's going to shove some other shit down our throats.
It's going to get ugly, man. I mean, you know, I don't plan on getting stuck with anything. Those are my plans. It's not a guarantee. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, if you literally can't work, can't function, can't make a living without, then what are you going to do? You know, I don't know. I haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Well, see, I just read an article yesterday, man, where they're already saying that there's a new variant in South Africa that they're worried has gotten away from South Africa, and they're saying it's worse than this one. You know, this D. You know,
yeah. Every one that comes up is going to be worse than the one before. You'll never hear them say, "Oh, we found the new variant," but it really ain't even worth talking about. It don't do nothing.
Well, and that's the whole thing, is that people. So, you know, it's just and it's the same thing with the deer thing, man. You know, the deer testing positive. Man, I'm not a biologist. I don't.
Well, here's the thing about the tests. Okay, those tests, they test for all the variants of COVID. Okay, that's MERS, that's SARS-1, and COVID-19 is SARS-2. They test for all of it. All right, it's going to show positive in any of the three. And if you do any research, the COVID viruses came from the animal population. They jumped species over to humans. Okay, so it's entirely realistic that a whole bunch of animals running around in the wild are carrying it, don't even know it, and they're completely healthy. They're not sick. I mean, it's everywhere.
Right. Well, and that was the whole thing of, you know, this fake news deal. Okay, that's where everybody needs to understand that maybe the deer really don't have it. You know, maybe it's just fake news. They're telling you that, but what is the agenda behind it? Why are they, you know, you always have to ask yourself when you read one of these articles, you always have to say, okay, where can they go with this? Where are they trying to go with this? You know, what is their agenda? What is their thought process on doing this? You know, and you know, and yes, the tests don't work. Okay, that's what I'm getting at is we need to stop getting hung up on the fake news and stop worrying about the couple of trees and start looking at the forest and what is involved in the whole forest of these things. And you know, it's we got to stop worrying about, you know, this percentage or this test doesn't really work, it's those false positives or this does that. We got to stop focusing on them things and start realizing what the agenda is and how can we stop it. What
Yeah.
can we do? Because, man, does a deer have the coof? Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess if I see a deer out there sneezing and coughing and got a runny nose and stuff, I'm probably not going to run up and, you know, lick its face or anything. I mean, you know, geez, I mean, I don't know, you know, but it's not the point. It's the point is, where are they going with this? Are
Yeah.
they going to say, well, wait a minute, there's a spread between the deer and humans. So if you've not been, you can't go out in the woods because, see, that don't just include hunting. Everybody needs to understand that you put yourself in contact with the things of the woods when you go hiking, when you go camping, when you go fishing, when you go hunting. You know, just a good old nature walk. You know, are they looking at maybe? Are they looking at maybe they're gonna, you know, push that issue? I mean, they're already telling you. I just got a phone call about an hour and a half ago about from someone who is a dear friend of mine, been a dear friend of mine for a long time, and this person basically told me that the thing has been mandated in her job, and it's been mandated in several other businesses around where she's at, and she's in a pretty free state, but I mean, it's coming to it. I mean, you know, and all this stuff about Afghanistan and again, like Ghost said, man, that's a horrible freaking thing. And people are mad about the 80 or 85 billion or however much in weapons and stuff. I agree. That's some messed up stuff.
Here's the thing. Now, if they say $85 million in weapons or how, what, 85 billion,
Billion,
that,
yes.
that's the U.S. government, man. Remember, these are the people that paid $10,000 for a toilet seat, you know, and $100,000 for a hammer. If they're saying 85 billion, it's probably closer to, you know, 500,000, 600,000 number, or maybe a couple of million. But here's the thing: even if we would have left a year ago or a year from now and left peacefully, you know, with no bombings or anything, that equipment was still being left. It was issued and transferred over ownership to the Afghan police and the Afghan defense forces. It wasn't ours anymore. It was made in America. It's our equipment, but it wasn't ours. It was theirs. You know, that business transaction had already happened.
You want me to tell you some more fake news about that over there in Afghanistan? Has anybody thought of this? I don't know. Maybe all of y'all have, and I just didn't. I don't know. I'm just saying this is just something I. So this new ISIS K, the Taliban don't like them, right? Supposedly they're like, you know, but who let them out of prison? Because that's where most of these ISIS K come from. Who let them out of prison? Has anybody thought about that? Who are the ones who actually let them out of prison? It was the Taliban. If they hated them so bad, why didn't they leave them there? If they were such their enemy, why didn't they leave them in prison? They already had most of them all locked up.
Oh, they have to spin the narrative that it's their enemy and they don't like them. You know,
Right.
that Taliban's not the bad guy. You know, and from what we were told, ISIS had been defeated. They would know. Here's the crazy part: if all of our military assets are out of the country, all of our intel gathering assets are out of the country, everybody's running around to the airport with their tail tucked between legs. how in the hell did they find out where the bad guys were that they thought were already dead 24 hours later, to where they could launch a drone strike? Right, if we had no intel assets, no functioning military assets in the country, how did they get a location in the city for a drone strike? They just shot it at some random building and claimed they got a bad guys. What happened? Just to sell it to the media, just to work that narrative.
Exactly.
Positive direction.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And meanwhile, while that's all going on, and they're spinning all these narratives and stuff, and got you focused on the equipment left behind, and all this stuff going on over there. You know, like the other day, they tried to rush through a bill. They tried to rush through a freaking bill now to take over all elections. States were no longer had the rights.
But
that it was all federally done.
To mess with the elections. I mean, we've already proved on national live television that the election does not work.
Right.
Your vote doesn't matter. I mean, so to change the election laws when they're not even going by them in the first place, ridiculous waste of time.
Right. And well, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, it's, but I'm saying, you know, they tried to, you know, they try to slip a lot of this stuff through while, you know, that sleight of hand thing, you know, hey, look at this hand over here. Look, while this hand's over here chopping your dang head off. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing, is that we have to, we have to watch this stuff and learn to focus on what needs to be focused on, you know, the way that they were doing things. And then for that P word guy to stand up there and say that all his top military agreed, that right there ought to tell you something. All them top military guys ain't going to agree. That's BS. I ain't never been in the military, but
I've never seen all the top military agree on anything.
Exactly. You know, and
I mean, they'll argue about the day of the week. I mean, just
Thursday. Oh, it ain't. It's Friday. Damn it.
I mean, the Army general is not going to agree with the Air Force general just out of purpose, and nobody listens to the Coast Guard guy and the Space Force guy. He's over in the corner somewhere. I mean, nobody's listening. They sure in the hell don't get along.
Well, it's a whole thing of people. You know, we need to stay focused on local news, things that affect you the most at the time. You know, because like I said, if you know, they try to throw up all these distractions and everything, and I mean, man, you can't. You just have to be able to see the whole forest. You have to open your eyes up and stop focusing on them couple of trees in front of you, and realize you've got a whole forest there you've got to go through.
Like I said before, people need to realize that, you know, the reason some awesome dude way back, you know, hundreds of years ago came up with the idea of cutting a hole in the wall and putting a piece of glass in it so you could see outside. It wasn't so it would be a nice little lit up section so you could appreciate the curtains that you hung in front of it. It was so you could look the fuck outside your house and see what was going on. You know, look out the window. Don't stare at the curtains. It's ridiculous, man. And it's like with the jab and saying you got to have that. You know, they're not. I don't think they'll ever come door to door with a doctor and a whole bunch of needles, just simply because there's way too many doors and not enough people to knock. They're just going to make sure they're going to regulate. You're not going to be able to do anything without it. Shop, you know, hunt, live your life, work, make money, you know, things like that.
Same thing with your pew-pews, you know.
It's going to take away all of your options.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, they just keep regulating stuff and making it, you know, and more people are buying on board to it. And that's what you know, were mentioning a little bit ago, Ghost, was that, you know, the percentage of people. And that's, you know, I've tried to say that before as well. You know, it's, you got to look at the percentage of people who are going along with it, because once they get the majority of people going along with it, you're really screwed. You know, you're really fixing to be left out. Look at current events.
Momentum is the key to a battle. And I agree with you 100%, Rip. I mean, it ain't over at all. There's too much.
No, it's not over.
There's too much political. There's too much political money on the table, so to speak, in dead Americans. You know, we have to be shown that we're being victimized. Justifies spinning up the war machine, so it justifies stimulating the economy, so we can try again to dig the dollar out of the hole that we dug, which is pretty much impossible now. It's just it's a means to an end, and it's just a reason to keep feeding the monster.
Well, someone that's in the chat now disagreed with me earlier whenever I said everything will go to digital. There will be no more paper dollars soon.
Oh yeah,
And they disagreed and said that that'll never happen because our U.S. dollar is used all over the world. And I'm like, but it can still. I didn't argue or anything, but
the dollar can still be the world reserve currency. You just
Exactly.
want to have it in your pocket to get a dollar's worth of something.
It'll
Just like you do in China. You're going to have that little code thing on your phone, or you swipe your card. I mean, 40 years ago, you didn't have an ATM card. You couldn't just swipe your debit card. You had cash in your pocket everywhere you went. People take for granted nowadays. They don't even carry cash. They just whip out the card and swipe it or tap their little dip or whatever. It's the same thing.
And the thing about that is too is that if you start really digging into that and you start looking at what all they can do once it goes all digital, it's really a scary thought, because I mean, look at the insurance companies, for instance. The insurance companies are already talking about if you've not been shot, they may not cover you on insurance.
Right.
So we already see that happening. Now, if it all goes digital, okay, and to where they've got everybody locked into it, what's to stop them from saying, hey, Backwoods, you smoke these right here. We know this for sure because I use my account now, my debit account to get to buy these, But what's to stop them in the future of saying, hey, once it all goes digital and they get all their little beast system into place, what's to stop them from saying, we notice you're ordering a whole lot of, you're ordering too many of these, what we feel is too many. So we're going to not allow you to order these anymore, or you're only allotted this much. People out there can say, oh, they can't do that, but can't they? We didn't ever think before this last selection that they could have done what they did. And we witnessed it right in front of our faces. Everybody's seen the videos of what's went on. Everybody knows what went on. And they told you
of the government. We don't have a government of the people for the people. We have a government of people for themselves.
And it's like this. It's like here's what they did whenever people was like, but we just saw them do this, and they're like, oh no, you didn't see that. You ain't seeing me hold up this cigar package right now. You don't believe your eyes. It's a lie. You're not seeing me hold this cigar package up. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they did that right to everybody's face. And the more of this stuff that they do, the more that they're going to continue to do. It's kind of like that little bully, that comes up and takes your lunch money one day. Well, if you give it to him willfully, the next day he's going to come and take it again. He's not going to stop. They don't stop. They don't try to take your rights away just to give them back.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how fast the federal response is going to be to a devastated Louisiana after the hurricane, versus how fast they sent everybody back to Afghanistan.
I mean, something else you can think about on that too is how they're already talking about, the someone says, welcome to the China-based credit system. Exactly. Because think about that. They're already in a way pushing that, and by saying, a lot of these banks and stuff have stopped doing business transactions or whatever with like gun stores, with certain stores. Look at what happened to the pillow guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say his name, but look what happened to the pillow guy. Everybody quit. You know, and so that's a form of the credit system. You've been a bad boy and not saying what, not following along with the agenda we want you to do, so we're going to try to put you out of business. So we're starting to see them samples of this credit system.
Mm-hmm. Ark Wildman, what's going on? Hey, B Charming.
Hey, Ark Wildman. I think they had them some fresh catfish.
Yeah, those pillows are awesome, Sheila.
Man, we've got like 15 of them, dude. Like, I'm not exaggerating. We've got 2 or 3 on the couch. We've got like 5 or 6 of them in the bed. My kids has got a couple of them each. We've got some of them ones that go in the car. We got like 4 of them in there. Dude, I love them, man. They're the most comfortable thing I've ever slept on in my life. I'm just gonna tell you. We got them Giza sheets too. Man, them things are freaking nice, dude.
I'll tell you what, I know one thing for sure. If my son or daughter would have been one of the casualties from that setup bombing, I would have done everything in my power to make sure that Mr. Alzheimer's was not there to watch the bodies come back. Because I would catch a charge right then and there. You are not, no, you're not welcome here at all whatsoever. And then he's on TV at this peaceful transfer of the bodies, and he's checking his watch, trying to see what time it is, while they're doing the praying and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's a joke, man. It's a joke, I swear. I'm over it. Now now all the news media outlets and everybody is just trying to get a former Afghanistan veteran or an Iraq war veteran or one of the war heroes to go online and do a video and bang on the patriotic bell of freedom. And I'm just like, this whole media marketing narrative spin blows my mind. You got all these news guys, all these reporters that were basically borrowing knee pads from who to kiss up to Sloppy Joe, and now they hate his guts. 8 months ago, he was the best thing since sliced bread. He was so healthy he could pick up Air Force One. Now he's just worthless. He can't remember his name, and he just has to go. If you people don't see that narrative in action, you are a special kind of stupid.
Well, the man, his name is he already filed papers. He already sent official letters to the whole administration and everything to invoke the 25th.
Oh yeah,
that's already been done.
And see, here's the thing: he doesn't need to be impeached. He needs to be held accountable. He needs to be court-martialed. He is the commander-in-chief. He still falls under the UCMJ, I do believe. He's the commander-in-chief, so that means he is the top man in all the military branches. There needs to be a court-martial here. If not just him, the entire chain of command and everybody that knew about it. Let me tell you something. There is no way in hell the Joint Chiefs sat around that extremely fancy table and agreed that us tuck-tailing and running like a bunch of little sissies in the middle of the night was a good idea, leaving 10,000 Americans on the ground over there. There's no way. That's not even a remote contingency plan in any military withdrawal. Period.
Right.
Period. And if it was, there would be no media coverage of it. You wouldn't know about it. You wouldn't know about people being stranded. You wouldn't know about bombings going off. You wouldn't know about any of that stuff because they just do a media blackout like they do with everything else. They want it to be out because it's part of the narrative. What's going on, Roman Prepper?
Yeah, what's up, Roman Prepper? Mark Bottoms, how's it going? Gary Bulldog Prepper stepped in. How's it going? And Bullfrog Homestead, I don't know. He's bouncing his ass off the ground around here somewhere. He's hanging out somewhere in the chat. He keeps jumping around.
That's the coolest comment I've seen in a long time, Lala. I like that.
Yeah.
40 chances to guess.
Yeah, I guarantee you. Well, and there's so many distractions going on there, and they're not going to stop with this narrative. It's very easy to see that this coup thing, man, and this getting your papers, it's not going to stop. They're going to continue to do what they do, and they're continually getting more and more support every day for it. You know, that one guy, I can't remember his name, but he does videos of, like, he'll go around and ask folks, you know, he'll make up some crazy survey, you know, and he made up that survey and went around, I think it was in New York, and he asked people, he really asked people, do you think people should be forced to get the thing? Man, you'd be surprised at how many people's like, yeah, I think they should be forced.
That's because they already got it. They already picked the side. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying, and so you continue to get more than people, man, and it becomes where you start to be way outnumbered. You know what I mean? Dude.
Yeah, I think a lot would be different. I mean, I think the jab would still be a huge topic, but I don't think that you would be talking about it being forced. You know, he's a businessman. He's a salesman. If that's the piece of that's what he wanted to push, there would be a lot of people that are saying no to it right now that would say hell yeah to it, just because he's a great damn salesman. But you know, would all this other shit be going on? No. Would this craziness in Afghanistan be going on? No, because we would have been out in May like we were supposed to have been. A lot of things would be different. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Trump. I don't like Trump. He's an asshole. He's a cocky son of a bitch, but he was a damn good president. It is what it is.
Yep.
As a person, he's a piece of shit. As a president, he was awesome. I mean, look at your gas prices. Look at your freedoms. Look at everything that's changed in the last year.
Right. Well, I mean, it just come up over my flipboard right here that now that Duke, you know, Duke University, Duke employees who do not receive, let's see, come on, pull up, you slow joker. And it pulled up and it went blank. There it goes. Duke employees who do not receive the by October 1st will be terminated, and they will be ineligible for any kind of rehire. I mean, it's more and more places every single day we are seeing.
Off the wall prepper, what's going on? Welcome. Yeah, Mark. I've never done it on the propane stove, Coleman stove, or outside yet. I want to. I want to do it over open fire. That's that's what I'd like to do, but I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I've been so busy doing other stuff. And here's the thing about Mr. Trump. What I like, and what I like about people that aren't politicians in general. When's the last time you had a president or a politician do something for you without asking for anything in return? That would be Mr. Trump. For 4 years, everything he did for free. He did not. His paycheck was donated to the VA, to the veterans. Every single check. $1. He lost money being a president. He lost millions serving the country for 4 years. Lost money.
Oh, he lost a lot of money.
He's the only one.
And the funny thing about it is he's pretty much the only one that's up there, even in Congress right now, who has the most employed people on his payroll. You know what I'm saying? Out of all them jokers up there, he's employed more people, and more people of color, more people of, than anybody else. that exist up there. And you know,
And don't get me wrong, people. I'm not saying I'm a Trumpster. I'm not saying I'm an anti-Trumpster. I'm not political at all. They're all crooks, every single one of them. When the government started being for themselves instead of the people, for the people, which was probably before I was even born, that's when it died. It's nothing. The only reason they ran the mafia out of New York and out of Philly and out of Chicago, and not out of them, but basically shut them down. They were doing a better job than the government. The government learned from the mafia. I mean, they are organized crime. You're seeing it right now.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty well known, that when you take something by force, that's that's mafia tactics. That's theft. That's you know because again, for those of you out there that have a paid for vehicle or you have a paid for house and property, if you think you own it, don't pay your taxes on it and see what happens.
Yep.
You don't own nothing. You will own nothing and be happy about it.
These are the beginning days of the mega cities that we all saw in
Hey,
all these futuristic movies where everybody lives behind this huge, massive wall in this mega city, walking and talking and sleeping on top of each other, and the bad demons and devils and vampires and zombies lived outside the wall in the wasteland. Moonchild, what's going on?
yeah, what's up, Moonchild? Gareth Singleton, you're absolutely correct. They're all bought and sold.
I'm just for it, man. I'm just the messed up part is the percentage of the population that thinks like we do, that thinks with a clear mind, and that sees what's actually going on is so small.
Mm-hmm.
Literally so small. It's like a fraction of a percent. Everybody else, most everybody else, grew up on technology. They grew up on the digital world. They grew up on the I'm not sure if I'm a boy or a girl today. I'll let you know later attitude. It's a Starbucks IV, skinny jeans, man bun, don't know how to change a tire, entitlement. Everybody's a victim. That's what we're dealing with here. And they don't want reality. They want to be put back into the matrix. They don't want to be unplugged. We're severely outnumbered, and it's sad. I mean, looking at the future is depressing as shit.
Yeah, I mean, it should really bother you whenever someone goes in and like this administration has done. They went in and they just undone stuff that the other president did just because he did it. They didn't look at, was it a good policy, was it working? They just went in and undone it because he done it. That ought to tell you right there that which we all know this. I mean, it's not a big secret that they don't give a shit about us. They don't care. You're
Nope.
you're just a donkey out there, pulling the plow, and making them money. That's all people are out here, like us.
You're a peasant. You're a peasant in the field. Get back to work.
Yeah, exactly. It's always this kind of stuff, and it just, and you're right. So many of the loud talkers are ones who grew up in this age, and that's all they know. And history has been hidden from them. Nazis. um, excuse me. I sneezed. And coughed there. But yeah, history's been hid from them. Real history, and they don't know, even going back to you know World War II, of what really happened, and how you can see it right here in our own country, man. I mean, it's happening right now, and it's not a um, it goes to figure, considering that we brought a bunch of them people from World War II that we fought against. A bunch of their scientists and their ways and stuff. They brought them over here and brought them into our government. To study these rockets and to study these different things, as they say. But they brought that same thought process. It's like we talk about, when someone moves from California and they move into Texas, but then they keep voting the same way, you know.
I see DeSantis running as the. I see him, running as VP with Trump. To be honest with you, and yeah, I think it was Pirate Chef made a comment. Yeah, he does what's right when it's election time, brother. They all do when it's election time. They're trying to keep their job. That's the problem with politicians. That was the great thing about Trump. He wasn't in it for the money. He didn't take a single damn dollar. He lost money. He paid money into the government to be the president. He literally put money into us, into the economy every single day he should have for. No, off the wall, we do not.
Yeah, and Bullfrog, you're right. It is. Every time they do that, they bash and reverse their predecessors, and that's true. And it doesn't. And that's what I'm getting at, is that they don't care if it's a good policy or not. It's because the other person did it. Well, they can't allow someone else to have a good policy in there, because and it's
Actually, it goes further than that. It's not that person's opinion. It's not like P-Pads went in there and reversed all Trump's stuff because he personally felt that it was wrong. The
right.
people that shove money in his pocket, the people that hold the strings and tell him what to do, hold him to that. It's
Right.
not one politician Republican against a politician Democrat that have different beliefs. It's the people that pay this person's check, the people that pay that person's check. They're telling them what to do. It's like for 4 years McDonald's is in charge. The next 4 years Burger King's in charge. You know, for 4 years the Whopper's the best thing on the planet. The next 4 years it's all about the Big Mac. It's bullshit.
Kentucky Patriot Prepper. Okay. So there's been a lot of talk about that here lately. I've been involved in that in a long time, for some number of years now, and not involved enough to give you the complete breakdown, but I've been involved in it. I've always signed the petitions and stuff. And what you need to do is the Convention of States is actually a great thing that we have. The problem is you've got to vet the representatives in there, because that is a way to ratify, to change, or to completely change a constitutional one of our amendments. They can go in if enough states. It takes 35 to pull to come to a convention of states, and I think it takes 38 states. I think it is to actually change, and they can actually change the amendments. So you've got to be very careful on playing with that, because if you get the wrong representatives in there, you can have to basically to where all of a sudden you wake up and your Second Amendment's gone, and they're like, well, it was a Convention of States thing. But it's usually,
it's a great idea. I mean, it really is. But you have to look at the optics. I mean, a lot of people talk about the R word, like what we did with Britain way back in the day. It was easy to do back then because England was half a world away. It took 2 months to get here by boat with sails. So you had all kinds of prep time. try doing it here. With the internet and planes and trains and automobiles, everything's sped up and it's faster. Um, la la. Like the Convention of States, that's an awesome. 2/3 of the states you can ratify that thing, and it rocks and it holds. Here's the problem: every state except for Texas, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Texas is the only state that does not receive federal money yearly because Texas puts so much money into the country. States like Mississippi, for every dollar they send to the federal government, they get back three. Texas works in the negative, and I think Texas is the only state that you couldn't leverage that way. So now, if you're trying to get 2/3 of the states with this convention you're talking about, and they all receive federal money to behave and be a big girl. Now, when you're getting all that federal money taken away, those broke states like Mississippi, Alabama, some of the smaller rural states, I mean, the people in charge, remember, they're politicians too. Anything above a sheriff, I don't trust, okay? It's just because that's the corruption time, so it's not like your voice. Look, our voice, our vote does not matter. I mean, it really does not matter anymore. They do what they want to do. They get elected by money. Nobody says, I want to run for office and runs a really good campaign because they're a good person and wins. Those days have been over for a long damn time. If you ain't got the money, you don't get elected. Period. You can be broke as shit, but if you got Bill Gates funding your campaign, and you can hang on and you can buy those TV spots and those radio spots, and you can spend hundreds of millions of dollars on it. You got this big backing just so when you get in office, you push his agenda. That's how you get elected. That's how they all got elected, except for who? Yeah, he had his own money. He ran his own campaign, and he broke the system. 2016 is the last time your vote mattered. Period. 2020 was bullshit.
Yep. I'm really scared of 2022 too.
I'm not even voting. I don't even know if you go to vote. And I hear people say, well, come to midterm, we're going to do shit. You got the same system run by the same people with the same algorithm with the same agenda. It ain't going to change shit. Believe it.
Yeah, the Convention of States, it takes 34 states to call the convention and 38 to ratify any amendments that are proposed. And it gives you, if you go to this Convention of States, it's conventionofstates.com, and all one word, Convention of States, and you can go down and you can actually look, and it'll tell you what states have signed on and everything. Let's see. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, but it'll tell you all that. You can dig through the little progressive map, progress map, past COS, Convention of States resolution, and I believe there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's what it's showing. Active in legislation in this year, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of them. And passed in one chamber is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, I mean, it's gaining headway. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, New Mexico, Iowa, South Dakota, and Wisconsin has passed in one chamber.
Hey, Gemma. Thank you, sweetheart.
So, yeah, it's you just got to really be careful, because that's, you get 38 states to sign on and change an amendment. You better make sure that it's being changed correctly. You know what I'm saying? You You better make sure ain't no sneaky shenanigans going on behind closed doors, man, because you could wake up the next day and be like, uh-oh.
You know, here's the thing. I can't think of any amendments that need to be changed.
Me neither.
So what are they doing?
Well, it's well, I mean, they tell y'all what they're doing. They want to, huh?
They don't need to change the amendments or anything. They don't need to change the Constitution, make any new amendments or change any amendment. They need to read it, learn it, and go by it.
It says to bring power back to the states and the people where it belongs. Unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. shouldn't be allowed to make sweeping decisions that impact millions of Americans. But right now, they do so.
Term limits. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I support that 1,000,000%.
Yeah, that is one thing. I'm glad you put that up there. I remember reading that the other day that is one of the things that they are doing is trying to set term limits. And I think, yeah, well, there's a lot of states stepping onto it, you know.
Oh, they'll do it for the publicity. But I mean, those term limits are going to affect the people that are going to be going to the convention. You know what I mean? So why would you go to a party to get kicked out in 2 years? They'll show up, or they'll say they're going to go, but then just not show up. I tell you, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I mean, we're taking it from the front and the back, and it's ridiculous. Somebody light the fuse. I mean, just light the fuse. I'm over it.
Yeah, it's something you got to keep your eye on for sure, you know. It should have to be Mary Prepper 101. Prepper 101, I think they should pass one that says that Prepper 101 should have to spend 2 years married to his mother-in-law before he was able to marry the daughter.
Technically, she wouldn't be his mother-in-law.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, you see what I'm getting at? Married to the mother-in-law, you know.
Marry the daughter. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I think just Prepper 101.
Gotcha.
Second Amendment says.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. You're awesome. Yeah, man, I canned up some chili last night. I had a big old pot left over. I've already had 2 bowls of chili today and still got half a pot left.
Well, I'll tell you what, my wife and I yesterday, and we hung out and we went and got some food and we watched some shows and stuff that we know, that we like to watch, so when you first came on, what I did was come out here and turned it on, out here and let it run. And then when I would come out, she'd go potty break or something, or I'd come out and like, I want to catch a smoke real quick. And I would sit here and listen to you. And one of the times that I came out here, you'd pulled that can out, and man, that chili, boy, I was like, damn, that looks good, man.
It was good. I had some tonight. I had 2 bowls tonight. It was good.
Hell yeah. That looked good.
All right. Who wants to come up here and hang out with us? Anybody?
Yeah, come up and tell us some fake news and talk about what's going on and tell us your thoughts.
Or just come up and talk about random dumb shit that has nothing to do with what's going on in the world today, which is pretty much exactly the same thing because the shit they tell us has nothing to do with anything anyway. Some bloke spoke up my skirt. Recipe? Lala, I didn't like do homemade. I mean, I used dried pintos. I cooked my pintos first, and I made. I didn't use water in the pintos. After I rinsed them and hydrated them, I drained them and rinsed them again, and I mixed up a pot of beef broth, and I put the pintos in that, and then I put my chili seasonings and my tomatoes and all that stuff in there with the beef broth, and then added the meat and then canned it. But like the seasoning, I just use the packets that you get at Walmart or anywhere.
Like a McCormick or something like that, chili mix.
That's exactly what I use, McCormick. Yeah.
McCormick,
I mean,
yeah.
when I'm canning, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy on this, all this craziness on homemade disc. I'm canning it, so it's gonna mess with the flavor anyway. I just want food that'll keep me alive. You know what I mean?
I made one of them taco salads last night.
Oh yeah, I had
They Ghost.
Man, it was good.
that. How's everybody?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
I've been well. Hey Gemma,
Hello.
how are
Hey,
you
Jim.
feeling? Better?
Hey, Backwoods. How are you?
Good.
Are you feeling better, Start?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I said in the chat, I didn't think yesterday until late yesterday. I didn't realize I'd hit kind of meltdown mode and I shouldn't very quickly. And it wasn't great.
I'm glad you feel better.
Yeah, I slept most of yesterday afternoon, evening. Then I had my nephew for a few hours last night, and then he was meant to stay here until later on this morning, but he ended up going home a few hours ago due to having a sickness bug. So he's gone home crying. I'm like, oh great.
There's a good question, Ghost, on in the chat. Maybe these two can
Hi,
tell us
Moon.
thoughts. Long pig prepper. Long
Hey, Daily Prepper 101. How are you doing, Prepper 101? It's good to see you.
Long pig prepper ain't bug out Bushido in disguise. Is
I know, right? If you guys in the chat don't know Gemma, if one of the mods, if Klingon, could you please drop Gemma's link to her channel down there, and also drop the link to Off the Wall Preppers channel down there. Off the Wall got over 100 last night, right?
Yeah, I went over 100. I was listening. We were in the middle of something, but I thought your conversation tonight was really interesting. That's why I wanted to get on here.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
I'm kind of a history nut. Wasn't in school, wasn't in college, but it's kind of became something important to me lately. And so I've been doing a bunch of research, and it's pretty interesting. I'm going to be very careful what I say, Ghost, but $90 billion was dumped into an infrastructure bill, okay, that gave this country, not our country, a country, access to 65 countries. Okay, we're talking,
Hey,
I think that's
Teresa.
the big thing that people are missing is that the power shift is changing. Just like you were talking Backwoods back in World War II, okay, 1920s. There's stories that are told, and I just did a video about this, but stories were told about people pushing wheelbarrows of money, and they would leave the money and steal the wheelbarrow. And that's kind of what's happening in this country with our dollar. The more dollars we print, the less value they have.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and even 15 years ago, I traveled to the Caribbean, and it was, and there's different countries that's already happened to: Venezuela, Mexico, Jamaica. Where, I mean, true story. I was on the square in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. This is like 15 years ago. And I was talking to this man. He's standing by a burn barrel. There's fire going, it's a different world there. If you haven't traveled there, it's a different world. And I went to places that they told Americans not to go. Okay, I had a ball. But this man asked me for a buck. He asked me for $1, an American dollar, and I was like, sure, I'll give you an American dollar. He took a whole wad of Jamaican dollars out of his pocket and threw them in that burning trash can. And I was like, whoa. I mean, and I'm talking like it looked like hundreds of dollars, you know what I mean? And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, why'd you do that? He goes, because I have an American dollar. And the more dollars that we print, anybody that knows anything about economics, the more dollars we print, the less valuable our dollar is.
Right.
That same country I just talked about is 90% cashless already. Okay. There's some major shifts going on, and it's going to be things that we've never seen here in the United States. I mean, that's why I keep telling people, learn how to prep on the cheap. Quit going out for coffee, quit buying a new damn shirt that you don't really need. Don't go buy you a pair of tennis shoes that cost $150, put them into preps, because I'll tell you what, they're not going to have to come door to door, Ghost. They're going to starve people. You starve people, they'll walk to wherever they need to go to get that food. That's I'm just being straight up honest tonight. I've had a lot on my mind today, and I've looked at history, and I'm like, geez, we got to wake up. Things are shifting quickly, and they have been for a long time.
Food's the weapon. Food's a weapon. They're not going to come door to door. They're going to starve you and make your stuff.
Hell yeah, food's a weapon. I mean, you got people starving. You got people. Yeah, don't go buy a Starbucks or a Burger King, or a whatever. You can go to a Dollar Tree and get you some canned meat. It doesn't matter if you've never prepped in your life. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, because you know what? Just what you said the other night, the food will run out. Already they're posting all over the place, all over YouTube, about Costco, Sam's Club. I did an interview at a grocer. People are, there's limits on what you can buy. What's going on, y'all? Just food for thought. I've been on one today because I've just been like shaking my head like there's no turning it back.
Right.
It doesn't matter what party's in there. It doesn't matter. None of that matters at this point. There's an agenda, and we're a little bit of it. We're a little part of it. And we either have to adapt and survive or not. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hey, Prepped Mum. I did see you in the chat chatting to me earlier. I'm sorry that you witnessed a bad meltdown yesterday. I hope it wasn't too bad to go through. I know not pleasant myself.
It's it's not a defeatist attitude. It's a reality check.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You get punched in the mouth so many times, eventually you're either going to say ow or you're going to turn your head. I mean, it is what it is. It's a reality check. It's not a defeatist attitude. I'm nowhere near close to being defeated. I'm fucking fed up.
Yeah, me
And
too.
who is it? Who is it? When you cannot, have you seen how many channels can't even talk about God?
Oh yeah.
And they take their stuff down. You being ex-military, I don't know how many. Backwoods, are you military, ex-military too?
No,
I am not.
But
I mean, our freedoms are getting stripped. And, last year when all this started, I can understand concern and people stepping back and going, whoa, hold on, what's going on? But now, if you're not awake, dang. I mean,
and for people that
I don't know what needs to smack you in the face to wake you up.
Don't realize how serious the topic it is. I mean, you had an 04 Marine Corps 17-year officer go on social media and call his entire chain of command on the carpet all the way up to Mr. fucking P-pads. You know, he
Yeah.
was relieved of duty the very next day. He's not out of the military yet, but he will be shortly. I mean, he basically threw his rank on the table, threw his pension on the table, everything he's worked for, and he's a multi-deployed combat veteran. You know, he's an infantry school battalion commander for the United States Marine Corps. They don't get any more right. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. All right. And he called his entire chain of command all the way up the flagpole out on the carpet. That's how real it is. I mean,
Oh yeah.
anybody else
Yeah.
in the chat want to risk your entire career, your pension, your future to make a statement like that, call somebody out? That's nuts. I mean, you get it. That's how real it is.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man. And I agree. You know, if you haven't woke up by now, you know,
You ain't going to.
you ain't going to. And
No.
the fact of, you know, I keep saying this, and I mean, it's only because I want people to get it, is stop looking at the couple of trees in front of you and look at the forest.
Right.
You've got to understand there is a big forest there. It's not just a couple of trees.
Well, and you the thing is, Backwoods, I mean, you're right. We can't change. We you know, we can stand up and we can vote and we can ask for term limits and we can do all this. But you know, really think about it. If you look back even at the United States over the last 20 years, and you'll hear one of them say one thing that, oh, this person's that or this person's this. And then if you really look back in photos and stuff, here they are with arms around each other, hobnobbing it. You know, that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Here's another crazy.
our country, we've been fooled. We've been fooled big time. And it started. It didn't just start with what's this last year. It's been going on. It's just
Here's an oxymoron, or I guess that's what you call it. Here's a really weird concept. If the election process worked, we wouldn't need term limits. There's no reason to have a term limit. If the election process worked, if the process worked, because nobody can stay relevant for 48 fucking years and become president. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
I don't know. I'm starting to think there's enough idiots out there to keep voting these people in, man. There's some real idiots out there in this world.
GMA Merkel. Not everybody's American. I'm British, so I'm not an American unlike you guys.
We love you anyway.
We adopted you. You're American. I adopted you. You're American now.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, even in you know, are you in England or where are you at, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure you've seen your country change. I mean, there's a huge agenda going on, and every single country is just a little part of it.
And that's the thing. It's not like it's just happening to Americans. It's everybody on the and it's the entire
it's worldwide.
Planet, you know. And the messed up part is we outnumber the criminals by about 100,000 to 1. All we got to do is say no. Enough of this bullshit. It stops right now. And it comes to a screeching halt right then and there. But it just, I mean, they've been shoving hormones into cereal and food and everything. I mean, that there is no more testosterone. We don't have balls anymore.
Fluoride in the water, all that stuff.
They've taken the fight completely out of most of the people on the planet. It's ridiculous.
Virginia.
They want that check. They want that guaranteed government check. You mean I don't have to work and you're just going to mail me a check every month and I can just chill?
Yeah, but Ghost, I mean, think about this too. You hand people a check and you hand them food and you hand them medical, and then all of a sudden you just snag that back and say, nope, done. What happens? What happens? The whole thing is about division. I mean, this last year and a half, if there has been so much division in every aspect. We are not the United States anymore. You go to one state, it's one law. You go to another state, it's a different law. You have businesses mandating this and schools mandating that, and people are just like, what in the hell is going on? You know, it's absolutely crazy.
No, I did not,
Chaos.
Ragnarok. Did he post another video? Because he said yesterday that he wasn't going to post anymore on social media until his thing with the military was done. If he posted a new one, I haven't seen it. I have to check it out.
Hey, Ragnarok Prepper.
That's the
We had
Lieutenant
fun
Colonel
last
Marine
night.
that posted that video.
Yeah, he came over and we did a live last night so I could get used to StreamYard, and he was learning too, so it's cool.
Oh yeah, I was watching. I just wasn't chatting. I saw you up there.
Well, here's a thing real quick on this. Okay, something I wanted to point out, because I'm seeing a lot of people talk about these shortages. Okay, well, I see some shortages on things, but I'll tell you, it was funny. I'd made a comment. My wife and I was talking about this earlier today. I'd made a comment to her, and it's been, I don't know, it's probably 2-3 years ago. We were went and done the Sam's thing, and went by the Wally World to get a few of the smaller items and yada yada, and we were walking down through there, and I'd made a comment to her. I was like, man, there's so many freaking choices. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different items. It's like you go into the razor section and there's like 45 different kinds of razors, and you go over there to the beans, and it's like 20 different companies, styles of beans or whatever, canned beans and stuff. And I'm not seeing that now, but I'm in our town. I don't see the shortages. I mean, Walmart, but I'm telling you, our grocery store down the street, I mean, it's freaking packed. They've got down each, so you got your aisles, and in the center of the aisle, they got these great big wooden boxes built, and they're just stuffed full of canned foods and boxes of mac and cheese. And the next one will be, whatever and whatever. And I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? And they're constantly, they've got, I think they got nearly as many employees as Walmart's got, and it's a smaller store just because they just constantly, and they buy a lot of the meat and stuff from local farmers, local ranchers and stuff. Like a lot of the beans, a lot of the potatoes you walk in there and get, a lot of the tomatoes, a lot of this stuff all comes from, local growers and stuff. And they, I don't know. That's just me. And maybe, 2 weeks from now, I may walk in there. There's not a damn can on the shelf. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing is, in the Wally world, in the big box stores, the limited stuff seems to be like it's more condensed down. Like there's not 15 choices of beans. There's not 15, choices of this. There's not 25 different choices of dog food, but there's still, we still have food here. I've not went to Wally World yet, because that's all we have is Wally World and our grocery store, and then we've got a Dollar General. I've not went to any one of them stores saying, hey, I need to go get this, and this, and have to come home and be like, well, man, there was nothing on the shelf. They didn't have any. I'm able to get everything that we normally buy every day.
Same here. All we have here where I live is a Walmart and a Dollar General and a Tractor Supply Co. And I've seen like a shortage on sugar, and that was only one time. But most everything in there, we've got food, but there's not wide selections of it, like you were saying, Backwoods.
Right. Who's Grandma Merkel asking? So you're going to lick their boots for more rice?
But that's kind of what happened in Venezuela. Venezuela was the richest South American country in 2016 or 17. And then they started seeing high unemployment, food shortages, more and more control. And now just YouTube a couple videos about Venezuela. I mean, it's pitiful. It's pitiful.
Well, I remember back in the 90s, in the early to mid 90s, when you were talking about Jamaica, I had a friend of mine, and his father had a little bit of money, and they were running casino boats off the coast in Jamaica, and and they didn't have a lot of money at first. And he told me how his family made money, and he's like, "Bro, if you got $25,000 and you move to Jamaica, you're a millionaire overnight."
Yeah. But I mean, the
25
same thing happened. The same thing goes to happen in Mexico. You know, Mexico's never really been a rich country, but they've always held their own. And then what was it in late 80s, early 90s? They dropped 3 zeros off their money. 3 zeros. You know, because it was just it just fell apart. And then they started, you know, coming into the United States more and more. So, I mean, the US dollar is on the decline because the more you print, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
And then, well, and the scary part is, you know, y'all need to think about this. Somebody holding back all those US dollars, and all of a sudden they just dump them back into the US economy. Then what happens?
Right.
Then what happens?
So Grandma Merkel answered me and said, "I'm talking to all of y'all backwoods. So who on here? I'm just curious, Grandma Merkel. I'm just asking a question. Who on here said anything about bowing down and licking boots for rice? Because I'm not licking nobody's boots. I'm gonna tell you, if it gets to a point to where I ain't got no food, I'm going to go take food I need. I'm just telling you right now.
I got plenty of rice.
I do too. I've got plenty of food, but I'm saying if it ever came to that point, and anybody out there in the chat right now, if you don't think that when your children and yourself are starving, that you won't do things that you wouldn't normally do, yeah,
Exactly.
You will.
you're dang
You
right
will.
you would.
Hell yeah, you will. Backwoods. You have. I mean, if you got, it's gonna come. I mean, if it comes down to that, it is survival of. You know, you're gonna take care of your kids. You know, if you have somebody elderly, you're gonna take care of your own. I mean, and this country has seen that before. I mean, my uncles used to sit around and talk and tell stories about them going, and somebody's chicken would get out toward the road and they would shoot it, even though it wasn't their chicken, and they would fight the other people. And this is back in the 20s, and they would fight the other people because they didn't give a shit whose chicken it was. They were taking that chicken because
Well,
people
hell,
were hungry.
One of the biggest wars, one of the biggest homegrown wars in a area got started over a pig.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Hatfields and McCoys.
A Hatfield.
Fields and McCoys.
Yep.
Over a pig. So I mean, yeah.
Because they were taking the pig because they were hungry. You know, people do. You know, and that's the thing. You know, if you're in the inner city, you really better have plan together. You better figure out what you're doing, because
there was a man. There was a man in my community. He's been long dead and gone for 30 years now, but he told me about how a community shared a cow skull, and each family, they made bone broth out of it. They passed it around. This same cow skull, I mean, basically like fed a whole community. It was nothing but soup, basically, by the time it was all over with. But they kept sending the cow skull back and forth, and they would keep cooking it and making more bone broth or soup out of it. And I mean, that's destitute right there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my great grandma used to tell stories about making dandelion soup. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another good thing. I mean, like if you can learn your area, you know, like here in the Ozarks, we have wild blackberries. I have so many wild blackberries, it's sickening. You know, and we have deer and we have rabbit. I really don't care for wild rabbit. I ate it when I was a kid. My granddad used to shoot it, but You know, if you have to, you have to. But if you can learn how to forage in your area, you know, that can help you a lot. Even though.
Hold on, you said you don't like rabbit?
I don't wild rabbit. Man, it's really gamey, but we got wild turkeys, rabbit, deer.
I don't even like you anymore. If you don't like wild rabbit, come on, man. Dude,
hey, my granddad used to shoot squirrels.
I just say that because it was funny because when I was young, you know, we had a family deer camp, and what we did was we would go to the deer camp a couple of days ahead of time and get everything, you know, going and set up and everything, and we would go out and hunt because we had a lot of swamps around there, and we would go out and hunt these rabbits and skin a bunch of rabbits up, and that's what we had for breakfast through deer camp, you know, at deer camp. And that's what we had every morning was fried rabbit and you know, pepper grease gravy, you know what I'm saying? And my great grandma, she would put them pieces of rabbit on top of a piece of white bread and then pour that gravy on it and make us some eggs, you know, and boy, it was good. God dang, man.
Yeah.
I just haven't ate wild rabbit in a long time. That's why I was asking Ghost, and maybe you know, Backwoods. Isn't it that you can only hunt wild rabbit with the letter R in the month? The last letter has to be an R. Isn't that right? Aren't they too buggy if you eat them at different times?
Man, I've heard both ways of that, but
if I'm hungry, I'm eating it. I don't give a shit what month it is.
Because they say something about a weevil or I don't know.
I'm with you guys.
I just know if it gets down to where it's belly kicking backbone, I'm gonna say if you fry something well enough, you know, cook it well enough, I'm gonna say there's probably not much in there gonna survive to harm you.
Right.
How Tube is writing a comment in the chat. He says, "Get up, get self-reliant, and throw the complainers and excuse makers out your life." Well, I've done that. I've lived on my own for nearly 10 years. I do nearly everything myself. I literally cook my own food, do my own shopping, everything. I'm pretty self-reliant when it comes to looking after myself.
Good.
Yeah,
I do it almost every day. I have to.
Yeah, Prep Mom and Mad Max. Yeah, I've heard them old wives' tales, but I don't know. We've always ate rabbit whenever we wanted to. I don't know. Yeah, just cook it properly. That's bullfrog. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Well, and that's another thing. Everybody needs to make sure they have a bottle of Tums and have something, you know, that can calm your nerves and your stomach. You know, one thing that I don't really drink, but we have quite a stash for you know, bartering.
Medicinal.
And I've put yeah. And up where I'm at, you know, one thing that we were missing that we just recently got is a snake bite kit. You know, those things, like, because being out here, you know, it might take a sheriff or an ambulance to get to us. It might take them 20, 30 minutes, you know. So you have to prepare. You definitely have to prepare. Frog legs, yeah. Well, we have turtle.
Yeah, frog legs are good.
The other day, I was going down the road right here, and this turtle, it was one of those big box turtles. That sucker must have been 2 foot wide. And I heard they're good eating, as long as you don't get your fingers snapped off when you get them.
A box turtle?
You're talking about an alligator snapping turtle, probably.
Yeah, you're talking about a snap.
Yep, that's exactly an alligator snapping turtle. That's what he looked. His face. Yep.
Yeah.
Huge.
Those box turtles are little bitty things.
Yeah, box turtles are small.
No, this thing was a big snapper. No, he was a big snapper.
Yeah. I've heard that they are good to eat, but somebody told me they're better if you pressure cook them. Turtle meat, if you pressure cook it, it's better.
I bake soft-shelled turtle. It's good.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say box turtle. That's those little tiny. That's those little guys.
Soft shells get big. Yeah.
We have a stash, but it's for hurricanes and it's open.
Good day
Where the
for
party.
Yeah, they got slammed down there in the South. We have family down there, and I'm sure they all headed out. They've lived down there forever. Alabama.
I'm in Alabama. I'm waiting to see what we end up with.
Oh, you are in
Hey,
Alabama?
Pepper.
Yeah. I'm not down on the coast. I'm up, I'm like up in the top third of the state, I guess you call it.
Yeah. Up toward Birmingham or something?
Yeah, about 50 miles northeast of Birmingham.
Soft-shelled turtle.
So far, we ain't had nothing.
Moon sprouts. If you get a chance to try some soft-shelled turtle, it's really good. I've had it. I'd eat it again. Frog legs, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, frog legs good to eat.
God dang, I can eat a whole plate. Them and some Pillam and Edam shrimp, man. You could put me 2 plates and I'll polish both of them off, boy.
Soft shells get big. I caught a giant one on a jug one time. We were out jug fishing, and my buddy pulled that thing over in the boat, and I almost jumped out. It was so big. It was big as the hood of a truck. It was huge, humongous. Soft shell.
But you got those royal red shrimps down there in Alabama.
Yeah.
Those are like, those are the best shrimp ever.
They are good. I hadn't had none in a long time.
Well, I need to get off here, y'all. I just wanted to check in with everybody. And I appreciate the support, Ghost. He sent a bunch of people over last night. So I went over 100. My channel's new, but I've only had it a week. So I was short like 8 people to get to that 100. So that's great. Now I'm going to work on that 250 and 500. But I've been in the prepping for a long time.
He can still hear you. He's like me. When I step away, I can still hear y'all.
Yeah, I got Raycon.
Yeah,
I do that too.
Well, everybody have a good night. Thank you for having me again,
have a
Ghost.
Good one, bud.
All right, y'all too.
All right, see you. Yeah, yeah, crawdads and potatoes and corn. Yeah, that's good too.
Just make sure you purge him crawdads.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say you, Yankee.
Bye, Yankee.
No, I hadn't heard about Prepper Now or John over there. What's up, Doc P? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of this stuff going around today, man, with all this stuff they're talking about and telling us this and they're telling us that, and they're trying to get you. They're trying to, one, distract you, and two, divide you, and three to scare the hell out of you to where you comply. And
oh yeah. That's what mainstream media is about right now, is fear.
Yep.
Mainstream media, is fear mongering. That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Backwoods.
Well, no, I'm agreeing with you.
The mainstream media is what it does. It fearmongers everybody about everything. It's not just about what's happening now, but for instance, when I first started doing my channel and I started looking into autism articles and disability articles that they would say, oh, people with autism are mentally damaged and they cause problems with marriages and they break up people's friendships and autism's made to be out this big bad thing. I'm like, whoa, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful of what you read.
Exactly.
It's not all accurate.
I would say hardly any of it's accurate, but that's just my take on it.
It's like I've told Ghost before, like the thing with autism is as well, people say, oh, well, you're all violent, you all like to smash your heads against the wall, or you all like to, you all like to be screaming and shouting. I'm like, no, that's not
No,
all of
not
us.
everybody.
We're all different.
Right. There's different. I'm legally blind. Okay. So not all blind people are the same. You have totally blind people. You have legally blind people, which means they won't let me drive a car anymore. Okay. Not everything is the same. People just judge right off the bat without knowing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hello, Appalachian. No worries. I know what you meant. It's just the mainstream media makes out things to be a lot more scary than they actually are, which is why I try and break down the stigma and simplify things. I'm like, look, this is what the government say, but this is what I and the autistic community, what we think. This is what the truth of what we think it is, and I break it down so it's a lot more simpler rather than complicating it.
That was a good question. Has anybody heard from the Ice Age farmer or got any alerts? Because I haven't.
I haven't seen nothing from him in a while.
That's weird. I know the last time I heard from him, he was talking about they might be shutting this channel down. He was switching over to the other stuff.
He may have switched over. That may be what happened. Has anybody heard from Trevor Nation, John over there? I know he was sick for a while, but I hope he's all right.
Global warming got Ice Age farmer.
The Daily Prepper says, what's the most difficult thing to get in the UK? Well, for the first couple of the first couple of shutdowns that we had, we couldn't get things like toilet roll, we couldn't get things like sodas, we couldn't get things that were the essential stuff like bottled water, things like that were impossible. It was literally, I think, the first two lockdowns, I went to 5 different stores and it was all gone. I couldn't get hold of nothing. So it took me 2 and a bit months for my auntie who works at a store, actually had to put some away for me in a warehouse shelf with her name on it. She had to bring it to me because there was Prepper. I've mentioned that already on Ghost Stream. I'm not going to get his stream in trouble, but let's just say I was pretty honest with the situation that I was in, and I'm not going to get Ghost in trouble, so I'm not going to talk about it.
I'm pretty sure I already jumped over that line tonight, Gemma. Go ahead, say what's on your mind.
Okay. Prepper 101. Yes, I did have my first jab due to my parents going behind my back and basically booking it with my doctor without my permission, and I was sick for 5.5 days. So yeah, I'm not having my second one. No way. No chance. Nope. It really messed my head up, and like I said to Ghost, I was not with it. My communication was crap. I was very, very confused, and yeah, nope, not having the second one. Nope, no, thank you.
I don't blame you.
Hey, Survival Julia. Yeah, I don't know. Whoever said that in the chat there, somebody said that it's making the people that get it or it's changing them. Stuff in it that will change the ones who get it. I don't know. we're the only holdout left in my whole entire family.
I didn't want to try and bring it up and disrespect Ghost Stream. Like, I know there's certain things that YouTube get a bit funny about, and I didn't want to kind of aggravate Ghost Stream. So,
well, I'm saying,
man, tonight's a different night. Tonight, I came out of the box swinging tonight, so I mean, I've already done the damage. So whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, my little family here are the only ones that are the holdouts in my entire family. I'm talking moms, dads, sisters, brothers, cousins, uncles, aunts. Everybody else has already went and done that. We're the only ones.
Yeah. My dad and my sisters went and got it. My nieces went and got them. You know, all the shots. I ain't doing it. I just ain't. My choice.
I've never had.
I haven't.
I've never had rattlesnake.
I tried to hold off as long as I could. Like, I was very adamant about not having it. I put up a fight. I'm like, no, not doing it, not having it. And then I ended up having it the end of July, which, considering that this campaign's been going on since January, February, to force people to have it done, and I'm like, nope, not doing it. And then I did. Like I said on Ghost Stream a few weeks ago, I did regret it, because when next 6 days afterwards, I was just completely out of it. My communication was all slurred. I sounded like I was drunk. It was just, I had horrendous headaches. It was just horrendous. It was bad. Never, not clever. And the fact is, as well, like I said to Ghost, it was the fact that it wasn't just my communication. It was the fact that I felt just lethargic. I couldn't eat anything. Anytime I tried to eat, I felt dizzy, and I was just like, no.
And my question is, what if it was worse than that? What if it got way worse? You can't sue them. I mean, you know, I don't.
And the fact is, I live on my own, which is even more dangerous. I live on my own, so if anything happens to me, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So.
I just, all right, so I keep seeing the same thing come up, and I'm not going to say that word on here, Ghost, because I'm pretty sure that one will get you struck down. But they're saying the jab has the you know what in it, the GO.
Yeah.
I've never. I mean, I'm not saying it don't. I'm just saying I've looked a couple of times and I've not been able to find anything that shows me proof that it does. I don't know. If somebody can show me a link, I mean, I'm not saying that you're not right. I'm just saying I can't find anything really that other than someone's opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go off of someone's opinion. You know, I'm not going to go over and look and they're like, look, I've got proof that this is in this or this is doing this, but you know, I'm not going to show you. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. If that makes sense. I'm not. I read a lot of stuff. I do a lot of research. You know, I research a lot of stuff, and that is one thing actually that I cannot find where I can see
Teresa, no, I haven't, but every time, like, one of the things that I noticed it's had it done, so I had it done in this time over here. Every time I have a shower and the water hits it, or if I go to stretch my arm, like near my head, like I get like an instant pain. Like at night time, it's really bad. Like if I'm laying here going to sleep, and I stretch my arm, put my arm out, or I get myself comfy, all of a sudden I get pain shooting down my arm, and it's horrendous. So I definitely think it's done damage to more than what they've said, but. Every time I go to put my arm out, or if I go to, like, earlier, put my shopping away, I'm trying to lift my arm to the cupboard to put my food away, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? and it's just constant pain. So it's horrendous.
Off the wall prepper. Look down what ghetto prepper just said. It's yeah.
Doc P, every single time before you get deployed, before you go overseas, you get in the lineup. And it's crazy, man, because they had this one doctor, like literally, he would do 3 shots at one time. He would have a syringe in between each of these fingers, and he would shove all the plungers with the palm of his hand. He would do 3 at once. Boom. It's crazy. Yeah, every time I deployed. And as far as I know, all of the military, it's like when we rotated to DRF1, and DRF1 back in the day was called Deployment Ready Force 1. It means that you're on an 18-hour. Like every month, it's a different battalion in each unit, especially combat arms. A different battalion is what you call DRF1, Deployment Ready Force 1. So if the balloon goes up, you can be anywhere in the world in 18 hours. And when you go on DRF1, you are obviously all your vaccinations are up to date. It's all the military stuff. I don't know exactly how they do it now because I've been out for a few years, but yeah, every time I went overseas, I got stuffed multiple times, and I had a horrible time with the anthrax. The anthrax was a son of a bitch. That was no joke. Like you legit, it was like they squeezed frozen motor oil through a 10-gauge needle into your arm. And then they have to punch you, like it made a knot in your arm, and you have to like punch it, and then you work it in with your knuckles to break it up. It was brutal. I hated it.
Well, so the thing about it is that there are so many of these inoculations that people already take, and I don't know, I don't know. We're the only ones hold out. So that's just, it is what it is, okay. Yeah. I don't know, man. Everybody just needs to do what they feel is best for them, man. I don't know, how else to say it, because it's coming to a day where I keep saying this too. People are fixing to have to make some hard decisions, man.
Well, we're coming in on the 2-hour mark, and I need to get some sleep. But before we leave, I would like to close on like a different topic. All right, you guys heard that I had to put 2 of my rabbits down, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I cried about that.
Yeah. 2 that got attacked by the dogs. They were doing great for like 4 days. I was hand feeding them, hand watering. They were fine. They just weren't moving. And then they just overnight took a turn for the worse, got all lethargic. So either the dogs had something, or from the bite, something got infected. I'm thinking they just got like a massive infection, and it was just ripping them up, and they were suffering. So I just went ahead and put them down. So
did the right thing.
Talking of positive topics, I've actually finished Ghost's poem earlier. I'll be posting that late today. I'm just gonna do the final edits, and it'll be up probably around lunchtime, my time. So that'll be going up.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sucked. Thanks, Doc. I appreciate that. Thanks, Dan. It sucked. I was mad at the dogs at first. I was mad at the dog's owner at second. But bottom line, I'm the one to blame. I had the fencing. I've had it for a couple of months, and I was so wrapped up in doing other things, shelving, the garden, and other stuff. I just kept putting the fence up because I've never had any predators in my yard. So actually, all the fault, 100% of the fault lies with me. So I'm not going to go out and hunt anybody's dogs or beat up the owner unless I see them again. First time.
Talking of bunnies, I get to name a bunny.
Yeah. First time's on me. If it happens again, it's somebody else is paying the tab. First time's on me. I got the first round, second round, somebody else is paying. So. But,
I get to have a bunny. I get to name a bunny. Woohoo!
Yeah, it won't be long. I'll be able to tell boys and girls here really shortly. Actually, Native's coming up either next week or the following week to get his rabbits, and then we'll be able to tell the difference and get them sorted out.
Ending on a good positive note, man. I was talking about it earlier. I made a taco casserole last night, and I didn't add the chips to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I did everything else, and then I'm adding it on top of chips. You know, kind of making like nacho kind of thing. And so I scored some nacho cheese Doritos today, and I'm about to go put that taco stuff on top of them nacho cheese Doritos. Big son, that's gonna be good.
All right, hang on. I'm going full screen. Have you guys tried this yet? This is my new favorite potato chip.
Huh. I'll be dang. I hadn't seen them yet.
Cool Ranch.
I haven't seen those yet.
We have them here. That we just call them Cool Original.
There's another one. You ready for this? Are y'all ready? Lay's
Yeah.
Onions.
Oh no!
Wow!
Oh man, I love Funyuns, dude.
Man.
That's gonna be good.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Ghost,
Dude.
how's your studying going?
Going good. Some of the classes are brutal. Physics.
I've been
even
watching your ramble videos. You talking about it. It fascinates me.
Yeah, I like to ramble.
I like your
Hey, while
rambles.
I
Your
got it
rambles are
here,
cool.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I appreciate you, Ghost, for having me. I always love to watch these prepper summits or prepper rallies, whatever they're called. Backwoods, Ghost. Love y'all. Love all y'all. Just good to be here with y'all tonight. And we're gonna go ahead and head on that, bud.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, bud. You too.
Be safe.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Appalachian Funyun flavored Lay's potato chips, and Cool Ranch Dorito flavored Lay's potato chips. Yeah, they're awesome.
Man, I'm gonna get me some of them Funyun ones, man. I freaking love Funyuns, dude. God dang it.
They taste just like Funyuns, like for real.
I just want to give Ghost a big thank you for what he's done for me recently. Like a lot of my new friends from my channel have come from Ghost's channel, and Ghost doesn't actually know that right now I'm actually 32 people away from my 4,100 because of Ghost. So I just want to say thank you very much for all the new friends that I've got,
You're
and
welcome.
for getting me to my 4K as well. I do appreciate that.
Not a problem. Anytime. Anytime. That's what we do. We help each other out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that
Gemma,
being
you
said,
must have the potato and cheese onion pie. Yeah. You actually just remind me. I need to ask my mum to cook me one.
yes, Julia, that's one of my favorite flavors of potato chips. The all dressed ruffles. Those are awesome. Those are really good. Been out for a couple of years now. Yeah, they're really good.
I need to get Ghost's address as well, because I want to send Ghost a British snack package over some British stuff. So I need to grab your address at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, Red Dog, no problem. Ghost, did you get them at the Wally World or what? Them chips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I might have to,
they were in the store about a week and a half ago.
I might have to get my wife to run me up there. I've done had me an adult beverage, so I can't, but I can get her to drive me up there.
Well, they both say they're what is it? Limited time flavor.
Right.
They won't be on for long unless everybody buys them all up and we make them, split like normal. But yeah. So.
Monique that's actually one of the things I've actually got Ghost a big pile in my cupboard in my kitchen right now of all different British chocolate and candies that I think he would like, and I've actually got them like piled up, and I've got a special big parcel envelope to put them in. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to shut it down for the night and enjoy me an adult beverage and relax for a while. For all you guys in the path of the hurricane, you know, button down and hang on. Everything will be all right. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out with us, and thanks everybody that came up on the panel. Everybody, Gemma, Backwoods,
You too,
Bob,
Julia.
everybody, I appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Peace out, y'all. Keep your head on a swivel.